Abortion. So first of all, I'm going to make a video about this subject where I'll comment the arguments of both sides, the pro-lifers and the pro-choicers. So I'm not going to detail my answer here, but I strongly disagree with the fact that when the woman's life is not threatened, should always be illegal. No, it should always be legal, but it should be the last option. Only after the condom broke, only after the second day pill didn't work and so on, you should have an abortion. That's my thought on it. So I strongly disagree with this one. All authority should be questioned. Yeah, of course. Otherwise you would get, policemen, politicians, bosses, managers, and so on and so forth, in the position that they could make lots of abuses. So yeah, I strongly agree with this one. Well, should be questioned, but when is the case, not just because, so yeah. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. No, I don't actually agree with this one. There are some cases when I think that, say, pedophiles, for example, or what do you do with rapists? If someone, God forbid, rapes your daughter, will you rape his daughter? Or, But I do think that once you committed a rape, you go to jail. If you get out of jail and you commit another rape, you shouldn't breathe anymore. That's my opinion. So, no, I disagree with this one. And I rather strongly disagree with this one. And I explain why. Taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any theaters or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis. No, because places that take care of art, so to speak, or of your history, your identity, and so on and so forth, many of them don't actually produce a net profit, but they are necessary for the city, for the country, for the region, for a certain ethnic group or racial group or whatever. So I strongly disagree with this one. Sorry. Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. Why not? I mean, how else are they going to learn, the kids? What they have to learn in school. So no, I disagree. All people have their rights, but it is better for all of us that different sorts of people should keep their own kind. Should keep to their own kind. Not sure I followed this one. So all people have their rights, but it's better for all of us that different sorts of people should keep to their own kind. Well, that's what is happening anyway, because you get clusters where you have a multi-culti society. People are clustered based on their religion or their ethnicity or on the language that they speak and so on. That's why you have Chinatowns, K-towns in the US. That's why you had the Italians grouped in certain parts of the US cities and so on. So it does happen. Not necessarily that it is better for all of us. It's not necessarily better, but that's what happens. So I don't know, agree. Again, I don't have enough options to properly answer to this statement, but I'll have to agree with it due to a lack of other options. Good parents sometimes have to spank their children. I'm not saying that good parents have to, but there are cases when it's not that bad to do it. It depends how, where, when, why you do it. But there are cases when you need to make that child understand that he did a boo-boo. Not to humiliate him, because then he might get some psychological some psychological damages, because of that, and later he would have some serious defects because of that. But I don't see an issue in spanking your children, I don't know, lightly, so to speak, when it's really needed. So I'll have to say agree, not strongly agree, because of the way the statement is formulated. It's natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents. Well, duh. Possessing marijuana for personal use should not be a criminal offense. Again, I don't have other options to answer to this one. It shouldn't be, simply because I don't want that my tax money go for prosecuting someone and to keep him in jail, to pay the guards, to pay the energy, heating, the water, the food, and so on and so forth. But I would be very, very careful when stating whether drugs should or should not be illegal, because we had in Romania some cases of some fucked up substances that were legal at some point. So yeah, I would agree with the fact that you shouldn't get someone in prison simply for holding marijuana for personal use. The prime function of schooling should be to equip the future generation to find jobs. It should be one of the things, not necessarily the prime one. It depends when. Because for, I don't know, the first 8 years in school, for example, you don't really get prepared for any job. But afterwards, yeah, they should focus to direct you to learn some a certain certain skills that you need for a certain job. So I can agree with this. People with serious inheritable diseases should not be allowed to reproduce. And I would be called a Nazi if I say that I agree with this one. But I'm sorry. No. If you reproduce individuals, or if you allow individuals to reproduce and therefore reproduce their disabilities, it's not good for society. I know it sounds bad, but cut the crap and let's get a bit real here. So yes, I do agree. The most important thing for children to learn is to accept discipline. It's not the most important. So I'll have to disagree with this one. There are no savage and civilized people. There are only different cultures. Oh yeah, sure. But some different cultures actually throw people from rooftops for having a certain sexual orientation, for example, without even an actual trial. They simply do that, from what I know. So no, I strongly disagree with this crap. Those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not expect society's support. Well, why should we support them if they refuse to work? Maybe they can do good enough without society's support, if they can do good enough without working, right? So yeah, I strongly agree. Or better, agree, because maybe they are offered some jobs, but not really what they prepared for. But then again, you should earn your bread. So yeah, strongly disagree with this one. Strongly agree, with this one. When you're troubled, it's better not to think about it, but to keep busy with more cheerful things. Yeah, because wishful thinking always did help humanity in general, not only individuals, right? You do get with the placebo effect a better state of mind, so to speak. But that doesn't mean that it will solve your problems. So it could help, I guess I can agree with that, but it won't solve the problems. So again, no middle option. I agree with this one. What can I say? First generation immigrants can never be fully integrated within their new country. Well, not really, because they're not profoundly related to that country. I mean, yeah, they can learn how to, I don't know, learn their language, the customs, learn what's socially acceptable and what's not socially acceptable in that specific country. But when you don't actually have your roots, I think it's not that easy, not even impossible to fully integrate within the country. So I have to agree with this one. What's good for the most successful corporations, is always ultimately good for all of us. Good for most successful corporations is to make money. It's good for all of us to make money. Now, the way that they're making money may be very hurtful for some individuals, for a certain class, for a certain ethnic group, a certain nation, so on and so forth, and generally speaking for the environment in some cases. So not really agreeing with this one. No broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive public funding. Well, the BBC does receive public funding, and they're spending some of those money to collaborate with what was the NGO called? Sorry, give me just 2 seconds to try to remember it. Not Love, Not Hate, I think, or something like that. Hope Not Hate, sorry. Hope Not Hate. And they're actually trying to bury up from a social perspective some individuals strictly because they have the wrong opinions. So it's arguable. Or if you look at the Romanian broadcasting institution, the state one, they're fucking up their budget. And they're also politically affiliated with the ones in power, whomever those are at any point. But on the other hand, yes, I do believe that we do need this type of institution, because you cannot rely on the commercial TV stations, because they all will always be after money, and they will not provide you, I don't know, political cultural content, for example. So I disagree with not strongly disagree, but I sure disagree with this statement.